Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jayme Hoyte. I'm the Senior Vice President of Business Development at SmartTerm, and I'm so happy to be part of this Women's Expert in ICT 2024 5G America's Virtual Forum. Today, my presentation will be on digital transformation, and the, the I'll be sharing the future of digital transformation in Latin America and the Caribbean. So let me share my screen with you now. All right. So like I said, the presentation is on shaping the future, digital transformation in Latin America and the Caribbean. Before we get into what really is digital transformation, before we get into what really is digital transformation, digital transformation is changing the way we operate and how we communicate. From the way we communicate to how businesses operate, technology is at the forefront and at the center of everything. But what does it really mean? What is digital transformation? It's more than just adopting new technologies. It's about reimagining and re-engineering how organizations function in the digital age. But today, our presentations will focus on what is digital transformation. We'll take a look at what does that mean, what does it involve. We'll also focus on digital transformation in Latin America and the Caribbean. What does that look like, in the different sectors, in government challenges, some of the challenges that some of the Caribbean countries and Latin America countries face. And then we look at digital transformation in education. So we're going to go a bit deeper into one of the sectors, which is education, and see how digital transformation is happening. And finally, we're going to look at lessons for sustainable digital transformation. So I'm going to leave you with a couple of nuggets that will help us to make that transition effectively. Again, what is digital transformation? It refers to the process of using digital technologies to fundamentally change how businesses, organizations, or governments operate and deliver value to their customers, stakeholders, or citizens. And key to digital transformation is that part about offering value, right? So there's so much innovation and advancement in technologies that is happening, and we want to take advantage of that. Whether you're an organization, whether you're government, how can you harness those new and improved technologies to provide value for your customers, stakeholders, and citizens? So now that we have, cleared up the understanding of what is digital transformation, next we ask the question: how does this transformation actually happen? It's not just a one-time thing where we just come in and we implement technology, but it's an ongoing process. It's a process that we really have to understand where we are at right now as a company or as an organization, as an economy, as a government, and know where we want to take the organization, where we want to move the direction in which we want to move the economy. So the first step to the process is really understanding where you are as a company. Once you understand where you are as a company, and you go back to your mission statement, you go back to your goals, and you go back to the things that you set out to achieve, then you can understand where you are and where you want to take your organization. And you may hear me refer to businesses, you may hear me refer to organizations. For the purpose of this presentation, it can be referred to as business, organization, or government economy. So that categorization, can fit into how it is you interpret the digital transformation process for those different entities. The second thing you want to look at is your audit. You take an audit of your operations and identify potential risk and opportunities. You also want to look at your strengths, your weaknesses, to see, where do you fall? What type of technology or innovation can take you to the next level, right? And the third thing you'd want to look at is benchmarking. And I think this is one of the most important parts in this process, is because if you as an organization do not know how to transform your organization digitally, you can always benchmark from competitors or benchmark from persons who are best in class in digital transformation, or maybe they have transformed a department or transformed their organization. And you can look at these different companies, economies, and see how it is you can, take different pieces to create your digitization plan um, for your business, right? So after benchmarking, you now want to set up your plan. Yes, you'd have a business strategy, you'd have your IT team, and you'd want to execute you'd want to bring your business plan in line with the available IT team or IT individuals that you have available, so that all is aligned and there's a coherent plan moving forward to transform your organization. And then in transforming, you'd want to manage that effectively. Manage the Also manage your improvement initiatives to deliver real-time ROI. And I think this is important as well too, because not only you want to manage your ROI, but you want to appoint persons, who would manage the different initiatives under that digital transformation process. Persons who are visionaries, persons who are leaders, who will not just come today and start the project and then they get burnout and the project does not go forward. It's really a process that is continuous, and you have to keep on iterating, keep on going to ensure that you have a successful transition, you have a successful digital strategy moving forward. And then you definitely want to report on the findings. So you would have gone through these 5 stages of digitization. You'd want to provide regular business analysis, reporting back to your board and management teams. So all of these processes, would work hand in hand to really deliver value, to really help you flesh out what it is your digital transformation process would look like. So we're going to look at some of the trends. What is trending in digital transformation? Digital transformation is being driven by several widespread adoption of cloud computing for scalability and flexibility. You hear everybody say, save things in the cloud, your videos, your pictures, your documents, so that you can have easy access. You can save on data storage spacing. And then the rise of the Internet of Things, which connects devices to streamline operations and enhance data collection. And Internet of Things is one of those things that really trending right now, because when you think about having your Google Home or your Amazon Alexa, these are things that will interconnect other devices, such as manage your login for your doors, your manage your refrigerators, manage your lighting system in your home as a layperson, in your home. These are type of technologies that will manage these set of technology and enhance that data collection that they're speaking about. So big data, I remember maybe like 7 years ago, big data was one of the most trending things in digital transformation. And today, together with AI being one of the most talked about topics in digital transformation, both big data and AI are enabling businesses to analyze vast amounts of information, providing predictive insights and automating decision-making process. And then we have blockchain. Blockchain technology is revolutionizing security and supply chains. And with the revolution or the rollout of 5G, it is boosting connectivity, supporting faster and more reliable e-commerce experiences. However, with the 5G technology, you need to have the appropriate infrastructure in order for that digital transformation to fully materialize. And additionally and lastly, we have the ERP, which are solutions that are being more integrated these days and helping organization optimize processes and improve operational efficiency. So with all these things that are trending, some of them can be used as standalone technology or interconnected technologies that will drive value for citizens and customers. So we're going to look into digital transformation in Latin America and the Caribbean. And we talked about what exactly is digital transformation earlier on. So now putting it into what it means for Latin America and Caribbean, it involves the integration of digital technologies into various sectors to enhance efficiency, productivity, and innovation, right? So again, it's that innovation and technologies that is being applied to these different sectors. And some of these sectors we can look at uh, finance and business, healthcare. In COVID-19, we see the rise of telehealthcare. Education, we saw the rise of learning management platforms and education management platforms. In transportation and logistics, innovation and technologies being developed and implemented also in agriculture and just across government widespread as well as public sectors. So digital transformation in Latin America, it involves the implementation of these technologies in these sectors that will impact the everyday citizen, that will impact our lives to make it much more efficient, to make it much more productive and innovative. So where are we as a country? And this is zoning deeper into Trinidad and Tobago on the digital readiness scale, right? So the United Nations Development Program conducted a digital readiness assessment for Trinidad and Tobago in 2022, and you can definitely get that assessment for other countries in Latin America and Caribbean. But this was done specifically for Trinidad and Tobago. This assessment positioned Trinidad and Tobago at stage 3 out of 5 as a country that is systematically applying digital tools and approaches. So on the scale, if you look at to the very first stage, which is the basic stage, it states that basic functions of digital transformation, particularly infrastructure and digital skills, are lacking, hindering the process for further stages, right? And then you go to the further end, which is stage 5, which is fully transformational stage. It says that countries are advancing in all areas of national digital transformation based on integrated strategies. So where does Trinidad fall? We fall on the systematic stage where our country is specifically advancing in key areas of digital transformation based on identified priority areas. For example, skills, digital public goods, along those lines, right? So if you go to the Ministry of Digitization's website in Trinidad and Tobago, you'll see some of their solutions and services that they're offering to the public. And, these are just some of them: access to ICT centers, e-identity, connecting communities, developers hub, TT Wi-Fi, where you can go in, different hubs in Trinidad and Tobago and have access to free Wi-Fi, and We Learn TT, which is a program to teach digital literacy to adults. Likewise, with everything, there would be challenges. So there are some specific challenges in digital transformation, and I've identified 5 of them. First one being the skills gap. So there's a lack of relevant digital skills knowledge within the workforce that can slow down that digital transformation. So as a company, as a country, you want to keep upskilling your workforce. You want to keep informing your users of your goods and services, and you want to just publicize any updates, any skills that you can transfer to the general public so that they are always aware, they are always informed, and that digital transformation process can be a smooth one. There's infrastructure disparities, uneven access to reliable internet and modern technology. So, in different homes, in different communities, they may not have the infrastructure we spoke about the rise of 5G as a trending topic in digital transformation. But if we don't have the relevant infrastructure, the relevant tools, then that will hinder the full rollout of digital transformation in the different regions and sectors, right? And then you have economic inequality, where wealth disparities limit access to technology, hindering participation in digital transformation and widening that social and economic gap. So, income households vary. We have the middle income class, lower income, and upper. And definitely, we know, individuals or households in the lower income may not have the resources to, again, get that access to infrastructure, get that access to tooling to really implement the use of technology and that full digital transformation. And then we have that ever pervading topic, which is digital data security, risk, and issues, right? It is really important that, in that transformational process, you make provisions for security of data, because it's one of the most important topics as well coming out of this entire field of study, right? Introducing digital solutions increases exposure to cyber attacks, right? And your company would require enhanced security protocols. So whatever measures you need to take to protect the data of your customers or even your employees, your organization, please do take those necessary steps. And then there's always cultural resistance to change. People like the way they have been doing things for the past 10 years, and they feel threatened, um, they feel like they can't really focus or implement these new technologies and innovations that management is bringing down to them. So again, you want to really do upskilling, assist your workers, assist them with understanding the technology that is coming in and showing them how to use, so that it will be easy for them to implement in their everyday work life. Go to the next page. All right. So just to kind of zone in on some of the challenges, this table shows figures that estimate the number of people in each country affected by infrastructural disparities that prevent full access to digital infrastructure. So we have here some of the countries in Latin America and the Caribbean, Haiti being one of the most devastated country where it comes to being affected by infrastructural disparities. They have a population of 12 million, and 70% of that population is, being affected. They don't have access, to infrastructure. And, that equates to 8.4 million persons in Haiti that is not, being tapped into. So as a company, probably in Haiti, you are not getting that full acceptance of your product, your goods and services being reached to, this 8.4 million. It might reach, but in some cases, but in order to fully experience that digitization and to reach this 8.4 million, to experience more revenue growth, you know, um, digital infrastructure needs to be developed. Same for Bolivia, Honduras, Guyana. 50% of their population, is being affected by infrastructural disparities. And then we could go down to a country like Belize, 0.44 million, where 35% of their population is, being affected. And again, if you add all of these affected population, if you're a regional organization across Latin America and the Caribbean, these are where your goods and services may not be directly trickling down to these population for whatever reason, infrastructure disparities, not having access to devices, not having access to um, Wi-Fi or technologies that will assist that overall transformation and reaching these population. And this is just a bar graph that shows that disparity in the percentage, where Haiti again is 70% of their population and so forth. So this presentation would be shared, so you can go through the bar graphs to see, and also do the research in terms of where your particular country may fall. And again, this table here reflects the populations potentially affected by educational gaps. So the one before was disparities in infrastructure. This one would be disparities in, educational gaps due to varying access to digital literacy tools and unequal distribution of resources in educational institutions. So again, we have the same lineup of countries here, and this time Haiti, it went up a little, right? So where there were infrastructural disparities, it was at 70% based on educational and lack of digital literacy. It went up by 5%, which 75% of the 12 million will give you 9 million persons are being affected because of not being digital literate. That means basically they don't know how to operate computers, they don't know how to operate cell phones maybe, or just new technologies and some of those trending technologies we talked about. Again, these are untapped markets that are not being accessed because of, in this case, a lack of digital literacy. And again, you can see Guyana having 50% of the population not having that digital literacy skills. And again, this is the bar graph that shows those percentages. So overall, over 60% of Latin America and the Caribbean citizens are internet users. However, rural areas remain underserved, and this is coming from the World Bank 2023. And this is where you would find unique areas for development as a company, unique areas for development as an economy, where you can tap into that 40%, that are in rural areas to improve infrastructure, improve digital literacy, and tap into those untapped markets as they are not experiencing that transformation. So we're going to dive a little bit deeper into digital transformation in education. When you look at the education ecosystem, it is made up of governments, schools, students, and the parents. Just to kind of zone in into these four parts. And digital transformation in education encompasses updating teaching methods, integrating technology, and responding to shifting societal demands to improve educational outcomes. Across the board, since the presentation has been started, what we define digital education as that integration of technology. So whether the sector be education, whether it be healthcare, whether it be agriculture or finance, it is that integration of technologies in the operations of that sector, to bring about enhancements, improvements for users and persons within that ecosystem. So if you look at countries leading the digital transformation, you can look at Brazil. They launched a digital government platform and e-learning for public schools. And in 2023, they saw over 86 million e-learning users, making it a leader in digital education. Likewise, Mexico launched the Aprende de Casa, Learn from Home program. It's an online program and online platforms to ensure that the community, that their continuity for 25 million students, that they can have access to those online learnings. Likewise, in Colombia, a national strategy for ICT in education, which reached over 9 million students. And in the Caribbean, you have countries like Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago who are doing really well and are advancing in online education with 750,000 students, having access and benefiting from implementing digital strategies into education. So when we look at, components of a successful education ecosystem, you look at, again, the ecosystem, the players in the ecosystem, which is government, schools, parents, and students. And you'd want to look at what do these individual sections, what do they value in the education system. So for example, schools may value efficiency and management, right? Principals, administrators, teachers, they would value how well can they manage the school, how efficient they can be at managing their school, so that you look at different features or different interconnected platforms that can assist principals in managing those schools. And you look at things of enrollment, attendance, students and teacher tracking, content and resource development, subject management, grade book generation. No longer you have those physical books, but now you can now have your grade card, your virtual grade card that you send directly to parents. You have behavioral management within the platforms, and enhance parent-teacher communication. So these are the things that the school of themselves would value, and in implementing implementing technology, these are the things you look at in rolling out. When you look at the student's perspective, what do the students value? Well, they should value learning, ways of learning and improving learning, and also ways of improving their overall results, their midterms, their end of terms, their entrance exams. So they look at ways of how to enhance the learning experience, um, access to resources, because you'd want to have materials that will help you to improve different subject matters, collaborative learning, personalized learning. A student can come onto a platform, and the platform can, with the utilization of AI, can really structure the learning course for each individual student that comes on to the platform. And then skill development and gamification, enhance communication as well. And we move to the parents. What do parents value? What would they value in a platform? They would value that ability to track and monitor their child's performance, and mitigate any failing child, or where they can bring in extra lessons or do extra work with their child. So their main concern is to track the performance of their child, and also to enhance their communication with the school, with teachers. So you're looking at information access, having access to that information, memos, different things that is happening within the school, communication, having convenience of knowing what is going on with my child in the school. And then you're looking at timely updates, empowerment, as well as parent school partnership, and closing that feedback loop, so that it's more tight knit. They understand what's the next step for their child going through the process of schooling. And when you look at governments, governments value the ability to have data that can help them with making predictions, that can help them to enhance their decision making process. So you look at integrated digital education management systems, you look at centralized data dashboards with real-time analytics. And this is really important because governments in the Caribbean region right now takes on average 18 months to compile education related data. We're saying no, that is too long of a time for you to make informed decisions. We're saying that information, and with the technology we have right now through AI and all these other technologies, you can have that data in real time to make the necessary decisions you need to make. And then you want to automate that data collection and monitoring systems. So overall, these are the concerns, and these are the things, your IT team or your management systems, your information management system would have or would consider when it is you're looking at, components of a successful education system. And the importance of digital education in Latin America and the Caribbean. It bridges gaps. Digital learning can reduce educational disparities. We spoke about that across rural and urban regions, right? Again, we need the infrastructure in place, to have rural areas having access so that, those gaps will be closed. Then you have the empowerment, which empowers marginalized groups, including women and disadvantaged communities. So empowering them with education, with the knowledge, with the know-how of how to transition and how to operate in this space. And then you have future proofing the skills. I believe any change that you want to effect in an economy has to start with the education system first. So whether you're implementing new technologies, new way of doing things, I believe a key part to start is um, within the education sector, and you teach those necessary skills that will align with the jobs of the future, that will require enhancing digital literacy for schools, for your workplace, and that sort of thing. So it is really important, for us to really share the information and to develop the different areas for full transformation. So I just want to share some of these two case study with you. This one will be for Brazil, and the other one will be for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We talked about Brazil earlier on, where Brazil introduced e-learning platforms and educational apps during the pandemic, right? And the result of that quickly is that it increased access to education in the rural areas, where more than 20 million students engage with online platforms by 2023. And that, the pandemic really pushed the countries who were lagging behind, and even those who had some form of transformation already in education. It really pushed us a nudge forward to really implement these different platforms that will make the education process a lot more efficient, and and for that continuity during the pandemic. The Brazilian government spent over 400 million in digital education initiatives in 2022, and it goes to show that there needs to be full commitment, and there needs to be investment when it comes to implementing the digital process, not only in education but in any other sector that is being chosen. There needs to be a full commitment, there needs to be leadership behind it, and there needs to be that investment that will take it to the lengths that it wants to go or it can reach. And the next case is St. Vincent and the Grenadines. They recently adopted our education management platform to enhance digital learning across the country, which was a massive success. And so the results show that improved access in education, especially in rural areas, right? And the government also improved access to real-time data. We spoke about, systems having um, that granular data, that real-time information, which has drastically changed their decision-making processes. So, want to leave you with some nuggets as we wrap up. Lessons for sustainable digital transformation. And what I gather from doing the research for this presentation is that there must be strong leadership from the very first instance where you start that digital transformation process. You have to start developing your strong leadership team, that will have clear vision and support, have that support from leadership. It is crucial to driving digital transformation efforts across sectors, across departments, across your entire company. And you want to have continuous training. We spoke about upskilling of the workforce, upskilling of students. It's an ongoing process, an ongoing developmental process for educators, employees, and students. as well as workforce. It's essential for the effective use of digital platform, because I think persons, employees feel confused. They are very confused when they don't know how. So it is important for organizations to show them how, to upskill them, to show them that it is simple to do once they have the knowledge at hand. And again, it requires long-term investment. Sustainable digital transformation requires consistent funding. It can be an expensive process. Resource allocation and maintenance to adapt to evolving technologies and needs. So yes, again, it can be an expensive process. It can, requires um, long-term investments and investments at different intervals and different stages of the process. Again, what will help you to kind of minimize some of those costs and to help you really push forward, I would say, is developing that strong leadership team that will not waste resources but will push through, at any given cost. So that brings us to the end of our presentation today. Thank you for your time, and we can definitely take this discussion offline. Feel free to contact me. Feel free to reach out to me. It has been a pleasure for me being part of this Women's Leadership virtual forum with the 5G Americas. And I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to continuing the discussion and to share more on digital transformation in Latin America and the Caribbean. Thank you.